Uh, okay, we are live. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are live. Sarah, go ahead. We'll have Luke joining us in a bit, but the stage is all yours, Sarah. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aura 8, episode 11. Tonight, we aren't just talking about the future, we are talking to the people building it. On one side, we have with Jedlicka, the man who looked at the map of Europe, found a gap, and started a country. He is the president of Liberland. On the other hand, joining soon, we have Lou Kerner, the global architect of the crypto community and the founder of Crypto Mondays. Well, Wit, welcome.
You're on mute.
Okay, great to be with you. Always.
Okay, I think we have a bit of connection issues out there with Wit. I hope he gets back. Okay, yeah, Wit, yeah, you're back. We didn't hear
No,
anything
I
you
just
said.
I just arrived home, so it flipped to my Wi-Fi from 5G. But maybe 5G will be safer. We'll see.
Okay. So, Wit, welcome to Aura 8. You started a country about 11 years ago, right? And tell us, what made you start your own nation? Like, why did you start your own country? Because uh, I've told you this many times in private that I'm a big fan of, someone thinking not just creatively, but completely out of the box. But I want to know from you that why did you have to think of starting a new country? People think of starting a new business. People think starting of a new family. They think of starting a new venture. You went ahead and started a country. Like, how did that happen?
Well, me thinking for many years how to be somehow useful in my life, and thinking what is really the biggest problem that we're facing. And some people think it's a global warming. Some people think it's, I don't know, Martians invading us. But I truly believe that by huge margin is the way we are govern our societies. And you can see that the huge difference between places like Dubai and places like North Korea, or even just South and North Korea. Slight difference in governance of the same society makes a huge difference in overall performance and happiness of that society. So what I really wanted to focus on was improving the way that the society globally is being governed. That was my number one target. And I always wanted to bring about a change by having a good example. So that was really the founding idea behind Liberland. Let's focus on the thing that makes most sense, improving. And yes, I could have also went into some technology. By the way, I had a startup for laser connectivity networks, something which has been now quite frequently used in space, and 25 years ago. And we actually built one of the biggest internet networks in Czech Republic, basically starting it as an NGO, but turning it into more of an ISP network later. But from very beginning, I wanted to really be helpful in something which has a huge impact. And I believe, again, the biggest value gets unleashed in society if we focus on fixing the governance of the societies we're living in. And just to give you an example, right, that there were 8 million people murdered by private murderers in last century, and 260 million people were murdered by state. Right. So when you think that homicide is a big problem, think about genocide that is actually created by states that are really a big problem because they're murdering much more people than the private murderers or single murderers. So if we really fix the way that we govern our society, we might end up with more sane governments, less wars, higher prosperity. And of course, the main idea behind Liberland from very beginning was to bring about a voluntarist society, a society where the state doesn't have to throw people in jail if they don't pay taxes, a society where you are actually incentivized to pay taxes and you pay them voluntarily and you're happy to pay them.
Go Liberland.
Hey, Lou, how are you?
Good to see you.
Great
Lou,
to see you again.
Hey,
welcome to Aura 8. For the boys and girls out there, watching this on Binance, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and all the other profiles, we all go to a lot of crypto meetups. And, we think, oh, wow, how cool is this? We get to connect with people and we get to discuss ideas, maybe get a co founder, maybe get customers for our project. Well, you know what? One guy actually paved the way many years ago, a little over a decade. Or that's Lou right here. He's the founder of Crypto Monday. Lou, thank you. It's because of what you started. The entire world, got to copy that and, perhaps spread it in places that we can't even imagine. Maybe in some remote part of Philippines, there is a meetup. And it's all inspired by what you did. So thanks a lot. And
I
this thank you
appreciate that,
goes
but we
out.
don't have one yet in Liberland.
I
We'll
know,
fix
I
that.
know.
We'll fix that.
Very cool.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Lou, I just asked Vit about his idea and concept starting about starting a country. You went ahead and started perhaps a very ordinary meetup with no major life changing thought in the process, but it actually went on to be something. And I've asked you this earlier, even on stage, that you started this what you had in your mind, and you very calmly said that, hey, you wanted to just in fact, I want you to tell us that when you were starting this, what did you have in mind? Like, what was your focus?
Sure. So, yeah, I had been a long time meetup shareholder. And as a result, whoop, sorry.
That was my son. He's arguing that I should do something, but I will have to mute myself meanwhile.
Okay. Anyways, I was a longtime Meetup shareholder, the CEO of Meetup. When I would meet with them, would always say, when are you going to start a Meetup? When are you going to start a Meetup? So I started one a long time ago. They're kind of magical. The people you want to show up, just show up. When I got into crypto, a few months after I got in late 17, I got an email from a bar restaurant saying, hey, you do meetups. We're a bar restaurant. If you want to do one at our bar one Monday, we'd be happy to host you for free. And I thought about it 2 seconds and wrote him back, thanks for your kind offer. What I'd really like is 10% of the bar and every Monday till the end of time. And they said, great, when can you start? And that was January 8th, 2018. And my idea was simply, I was excited just about hanging out with other people who were as passionate about me on crypto. That was the idea. I didn't have any speakers. Most of the time I'm at a meetup and there's somebody talking. I really wish they'd stop. We had 300 people at the first one because it was literally the peak market cap day for 2 years. We were actually unwittingly celebrating the start of crypto winter. And we had 350 people, 3 TV crews at the second one, decided to blow it out around the world, decentralized. You run the Crypto Mondays you want in your city. We're here to help. Totally non-extractive. We had no rules for the first 9 months. And then when we had 15 chapters, we put in place rule 1, which I think is why we've been a success. With 64 active chapters now around the world. And our one and only rule for co-organizers is you are not allowed to email me and ask me permission to do something. What part of decentralization didn't you fucking understand? And people like that rule. We're here to help. We're not here to extract value. The simple belief is the whole is worth so much more than the sum of the parts that we don't need to extract from the parts. In fact, we can share the abundance with the parts.
Great. Both of you have hung out together in Davos during the World Economic Forum, and then the 3 of us actually hung out in Bardubai, or no, actually in Dera, the old part of Dubai, which I think tourists never get to see unless they want. I hope you guys enjoyed the shawarma that we had. It is a pretty iconic shawarma there.
It was tasty.
Thank you. And now Sarah is here, and the 4 of us are hanging out together, and a lot of people are watching us as we are doing this. There is something that I want to ask about bringing people together, right? I've been in the events business for over 20 years, and then from startup in a web 2 to getting doing something in web 3. I want to ask the three of you that what are your top three things to actually throw a good meetup, perhaps a good event, because I think all of us on this call right now are in the business of actually getting people together, right? And it is such a serious business of getting people together, because if we don't get the right kind of people together, the next event kind of crumbles in one way or the other, because it is a cascaded effect, or in this term it is a network state effect. So Luke, I'll begin with you, and then we'll all go around.
Sure. Well, as I said at the start, that when I started Crypto Mondays, we had no speakers. But what I found pretty quickly was chapters that did have speakers were getting a lot more people to show up. So we now have speakers, and I suggest that all chapters do in New York, which is the only one that I still have a hand in running. But we keep the speakers to 30 minutes. So I do 20 minutes of Q&A, and now I really love doing it because I ask people I really want to learn from, 10 minutes of Q&A from the audience. But we still leave the majority of the time for the networking, which I think is where the real value comes in. And I think, quite honestly, the struggle, the weird struggle that we have at Crypto Mondays is only about a third of the people who say, hey, I want to start one. And then we meet with them, we onboard them, we give them, instructions that we would follow, but they can do whatever they want. And only about a third of the people end up actually starting one, because I think people are very fearful of failure. And, especially they see this as a public failure because, they're out there advertising it. And I really that focus on just doing the first one. If only, I tell the story, the 23rd Crypto Mondays that I went to, it was the 6th Crypto Mondays they had in Phoenix. And I got there about a half hour after it started, and there were maybe 10 people there, and I'm fine, 10 people. And first guy I walk up to, I'm like 65-year-old guy, and I asked him, hey, is this your first Crypto Mondays? And he said, no. He said, about 6 months ago, I was at Crypto Mondays Milan. And long story short, that guy is now COO of Crypto Mondays. And the point of the story is, even at a 10-person Crypto Mondays, you can meet somebody who changes your life. And that's what the person who set up that Crypto Monday Phoenix did for me. And that's what everybody who does the Crypto Mondays anywhere can do for their community. And so the most important thing is just to do the first one. There is nobody who's done one who hasn't done more. Everyone who does one goes, wow, this is awesome, and does more.
Vid, the biggest challenge of getting people together.
Well, let me first, say that we had a really nice network state Liberland meetup yesterday with Vitalik Buterin also coming down and having dinner with us. That was a very nice event in Prague yesterday. I really enjoyed it, or actually now 2 days ago already. Yeah. So Vitalik got highest state award of Liberland, and we had a more than 120 people coming down for the meetup in Prague. So it was a quite nice get together. And Balaji sent us also a video message. So it was quite a powerful meeting of important people in the space. And of course, like getting somewhere, Vitalik is a big celebration in itself. So it was real fun to present to him in person also and tell him what the plans of Liberland are. And of course, we hope that these bigger guys, they're also like waiting, but like kind of eagerly watching what's going to happen next in Liberland, and they're looking for the right time to engage and actually help us on the ground. So that's kind of cool that they're really interested in like really getting things big once things mature. And I think this summer is the time when things actually mature. So you can expect some wilder ride in the whole Liberland, physically as well as digitally. We're moving to Ethereum. We're gonna have a lot of new developers joining the projects through the fact that now we were fully EVM, and we are also going to be fully on chain when it comes to not just not just Congress, not just Senate, not just budgeting, but also now the court system, also the land register system. So first country that will actually have all the key elements of its governance on chain. So I hope there will be some appreciation from the crypto crowd when we finalize this and it will be live.
Sarah, you have prepared a bunch of questions for our guest. I think this is the time you take it over.
Yes, let's start off but welcome, Lou. Before we started off, I just wanted to know, Lou, how many cycles has Crypto Mondays seen? Crypto cycles, like the Bitcoin cycle, has Crypto Mondays seen?
I guess
Six,
this is
five,
the third one.
third?
And,
Okay.
and what's super interesting in the other two bear markets, we saw dwindling crowds at Crypto Mondays and dwindling number of active chapters. Weirdly, this last bear market, we have not seen that. So there seems to be kind of a decoupling for whatever reason. Nobody really knows the answer to it, but it's quite exciting. Next week, I think, is the launch of our 65th Crypto Monday active chapter in Crypto Monday Ibiza.
Wow, congratulations. So that's going to be your 23rd country or your 24th country?
That will be,
let's
well,
add on.
Ibiza is part of Spain, and we already have one in Barcelona that I went to last year. It's a great chapter. So it's not a new country, but it is obviously a new city.
No, it's really, really cool what you guys are doing. I wish we were able to learn a little bit more. Like, we're always able to throw some good events where, we're kind of traveling around the world, but having this capacity to throw events all around the world globally. I think, of course, you have a broader topic for your debates, but I think there is a big lesson to be learned. Also, great opportunity for more collaboration.
Yes, thanks, Veet. And
That's true.
what I'm most excited about, the most exciting thing to happen in our 8.5-year history actually started last week. And that was, we launched Agent Monday, which is our community management AI agent. People come to Crypto Mondays to learn and connect. And now we're going to be able to do all of those three things dramatically better, particularly around Connect, where we have a unique position. And very quickly, we're going to, open source it, white label it, so any community around the world can leverage it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I love that. We have also like an AI work group. We are planning to allow any Liberland citizen or congressman or people that are just e-residents to actually open quickly their AI agent, and hopefully these AI agents will be connected through some hyperconnector that you are putting together.
Awesome. And one other thing, I'm just going to drop a link here in the chat, even though I know people watching can't see it, but just for the others on the call. Last January, when we started building our community management AI agent, we very quickly realized there were lots of problems that needed to be solved in order for decentralized AI agents to really be a thing. And Crypto Mondays wasn't going to solve all these problems ourselves. So we started the Decentralized AI Agent Alliance for anybody else who wants to help solve these problems. And that was last January. And today we're 210 founding members.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so that might be something that that Liberland might want to join as well. There are no costs to join. Very much like Crypto Mondays, in that the parent organization is just there to help the subgroups solve the problem. In the same way, Crypto Mondays, the parent is just there to help the chapters.
Lovely.
Whit, you represented Liberland at the 29th Global Family Office Investment Summit in Dubai, which was held recently in February this year. So specifically pitching to long-term capital holders. When you talk to these multi-generational wealth holders, are they looking at Liberland as a startup country investment?
Well, kind of interestingly enough, we actually now have one of very serious investor that is looking into Liberland, and that's why we have created this Senate in Liberland, which is literally like House of Lords, where you can buy in when you basically become the biggest contributor, financial contributor, or you get Liberland recognized by one of the countries. And some of these big family offices actually have the capacity to help us get recognized in some of the smaller countries. So we have something to offer them, something for their appetite, so they can either become like major shareholder in Liberland and they get extra bonus for doing that by having this permanent seat in the Senate, or they can actually help us to get Liberland recognized, and then they get the same seat, basically similar value. And yes, like the ticket is already like a bigger one, so it's something that they can consider putting in their portfolio, and they literally get double value. They get the share the founding entity, which is Liberland Limited, which is kind of a corporation that is starting Liberland from grounds up and holds all the reserves of merits. And they also get the dividends from these reserves if they join this initial corporation, but they also get a bunch of merits through which they directly can receive dividends and can directly participate in Congress elections. So yeah, we have a special program for big fishes, which is called the Senate, which I think is the purpose of Senate in other kind of political systems as well, or at least it used to be, for example, in Rome.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Do you just mentioned about your Agent Mondi, the platform that you have built? I just wanted to ask that if you were to issue a Crypto Mondays passport today via your new Mondi agent, what rights and protections could you actually provide that a traditional government can't?
Yeah, look, that's a great question. We actually see ourselves as the leading crypto network state, with active chapters in 64 cities around the world. And one of the things that I've discussed very briefly with Veet is the idea. Obviously, Liberland is doing a great job of building itself out there and building relationships with others who are increasingly recognizing Liberland. And at some point, Liberland will start to be able to recognize other folks. And so, part of Crypto Mondays is, thinking of ourselves as a network state is how can we get recognized as a network state? And, again, I mentioned the three things that we're providing to our members: learn, earn, and connect. And I really think that we're going to be leaning heavily onto the connect side. How we meet people, if you really think about it, hasn't changed a whole lot, outside of dating apps, which don't really work very well, apparently. And I think AI is going to rewrite everything. And I think today there's really an opportunity, to finally maybe have a new paradigm of how we connect. The Facebook changed everything 20 years ago when they introduced the news feed, and the news feed today still dominates everything on the internet, on how we connect with other humans, how we connect with information. And now with AI, I think there's really an opportunity to rethink what that connection can be and how we connect and the utility that we'll be able to give people via those connections.
Yeah, by the way, we can still have an embassy inside of Liberland, right? So your network state can become kind of Maltesian order of sort. I think that would be fun to have like Crypto Mondays embassy on Liberty Island. So
I think that would be our first one, I'm pretty sure.
Guys.
That's where we want to position in general Liberland as a hub for network states. I think that's a good way to go about it. That's way to really connect different, become like a meta communities connector. And yes, like some of these network states in a sort are bigger than Liberland right now, but Liberland has this great advantage that we have a 7 square kilometers that actually has a very good is a very good opportunity to really start a sovereign country. And I used to say we are 5% in. I would say we are more like 25% in right now in 10 years. So I hope we will speed up in coming years, but we have made a great progress, especially in the last couple of years. We have full access to Liberland. People can start building there. We have gotten quite rid of most of the problems with our neighbors, and there is going to be probably major shift that for better in summer. So cross fingers, and we might actually be able to attain a lot of sovereignty, like full sovereignty over this summer holiday.
That's so impressive. And it's also, people should appreciate how, increasingly anti-fragile Liberland is, it has been around. Veet's been doing this for 10 years.
Since we keep talking about AI, and then all of us are so pro AI, and we truly believe that AI is going to change. Now, Wit and I have young kids. You have much older kids. You have told me some amazing stories about them, Lou. But then perhaps for your grandkids, how would you prepare them for a future that is so freaking scary in more ways than one?
Look, nobody's got the answer to that. I think for me, is AI going to be good? Is AI going to be bad? Truth is, nobody knows. The only thing we know for sure is AI is going to be a massive part of all of our lives, and sooner rather than later. So, I'm always about embracing it and, leveraging it, recognizing that this is, this is the future, and that, Luddites have always been wrong, and they will always be wrong until they're right. But there's no money in being a Luddite.
Vid, how are you preparing your kids for the AI future?
I'm trying to keep them away from computers and phones, which is like the hardest job ever. But by the way, like this, this app which I was looking for, it seems finally somebody programmed it. So I was almost about to use the Liberland programming team to program an app where you have to earn through tests and through learning time to play more, which seems really like one of the most important app in the modern century, and nobody really create a good version of it. But it seems like there's some finally some versions available. It would be great if it worked across the computer. And of course, I'm under big pressure now to fix his computer, so he's nagging me here to cancel this call and help him to fix his computer so he can play. And I'm under serious threat here.
Clearly, we can see. I think we need to involve the secret services. Of
Sir, hold on a minute. I'm a little worried now about a coup.
Yeah, it's quite realistic now, unless I fix his computer so he can play Roblox with his brother. But anyway, no, so Minecraft, sorry, not Roblox.
Epic network
I
state.
think the admin abuse is going to start in some time, right?
Yeah. Bit of a challenge, but of course it's important for me to really get things up and running. So I'm pushing actually the older one to learn also how to use, for example, agents already to program Minecraft. So that's my mission for next week. I want these guys to be on top of the game. And they are quite, like David already has a quite nice YouTube channel, and he's working quite a bit with the code. There is this nice app called Code Kingdom for everybody that has kids as well. And it's a really good way to learn programming because it lesson by lesson teaches you how to program basically Minecraft as well as Roblox. Okay.
Nice. I'm going to get that website from you. Go ahead.
After listening to y'all, like the Roblox, mining, coding, it's so normal for these kids to do it these days, because my eldest boy is also trying to build a Roblox game since weeks. And then he's just trying to get it better by asking his brothers how he can do it, not even asking the AI agents. He just wants to ask them, like, if this is what you want to play, will you play it or not? And then they join in hands and they want to build the entire game. So AI agents, AI is completely changing the world altogether. And you have founded the Decentralized AI Agent Alliance recently in January. That's 2025.
January 2025. So a little more than a year and a half ago coming
up. So what happened at Miami? It was completely shifted towards the AI governments. So I really want to know that
the consensus.
Yes. Yeah. The event that you did.
You're saying that at Crypto Mondays consensus.
Yes. Yeah. You always focused on the topic AI governance completely.
In my view, kind of at a macro level today, I think the big thing going on in crypto is RWA. That was a dominant thing at consensus. And I think after RWA, the biggest thing going on is decentralized AI. Stable coins, but that's part of RWA. And then I think decentralized AI, it's not as hot today as as RWA is, but it's a lot hotter than it was a few months ago, ever since OpenClaw, right? The AI agents were hot a year and a half ago when we started DIA, and for the first year, the market was going down until OpenClaw came out. And now, I don't think I think we'll be talking about AI agents a lot for a long time to come.
Okay, tell me what happened in consensus. We heard a lot of, perhaps a lot of controversy. The
About
thing
the
is
guy
that,
falling in his piss?
sorry?
About the gentleman who fell in his piss at the nightclub? Or is this another controversy? Yes.
That is one. And then there was another controversy of the official after party. Because if I'm not wrong, the official after
That's the official after party. Yeah. Look, I mean, you can have everybody can have an opinion. Is this a smart thing to do? Is this a smart thing to do? But the way that I feel about it, quite honestly, is as soon as we start building stuff that people want to use, we'll stop talking about all this other crap. The only reason we're talking about this is because there's nothing else to talk about.
True, but then let's talk about it, because I think the world so Toby and Brent are very, very dear friends. I know them even before they did TBV or
Yeah,
TV.
I knew them when they were analysts at BFF.
Yeah, true. Ali and Mansoor, we were together in Ali's wedding in Bali.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Were you in the Dubai event too? The one that happened in the yacht? I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
Were you in Ali's wedding? There were 3 locations. One was Vancouver.
I was only at the one in Bali. I wasn't at the other one.
Okay. So I was here in Dubai and in Bali. So yeah, we know each other. These guys are friends. But then what actually happened, I would like to know, because I
was not there. Not that I'm a prude or anything, but 11 is a world famous strip club. Okay. And I am now aware that there were some people who were unaware of that who went and were sorry that they went, but most people were aware of it because it's world famous. It's the most famous. It's massive, and it's the most famous one. And it's not my thing to go and hang out at strip club. If people want to go, they can go. My understanding was it was packed. Is all you've been to their parties before. They're always packed. People drink. It's a strip club. Why they want to have it at strip club, that's their choice. And it's not like this is the first conference to have a party at 11. Every conference has a party at 11. So you can say it's bad taste. I mean, not everyone, but many, many, many conferences have events there. Personally, if I were throwing the party, I wouldn't throw it there. I would like to have a more open, inclusive Web3. But by the way, I went to other parties that were awesome that night. I did not go to 11. I had a great evening. I think I was at a Bitco party, on South Beach, and it was great.
I was supposed to go to Miami, and since I know Toby and Brent so well, I would have ended up in that party for sure without knowing what 11 is.
Yeah, by the way, they throw great parties, and I'm friends with the guys. I ran into them. They said, "Oh, make sure to come to 11. It's going to be awesome." And I'm like, "Well, maybe."
But then, we talk about going the institutional route. I think that is what I read on X, and I truly believe that any form of publicity is great publicity. Any kind of opinion is great opinion, because as long as you put anything on the internet, it's going to give you the views. It is going to get more eyeballs to it. But let's talk to Wit about.
Look, I will say my guess is, to the degree we do want to get institutional, my guess is that the average person on Wall Street spends more time at strip clubs than the average person in crypto.
Good one. Okay, there's no coming back from there. So all you haters out there, giving shit to the official after party, Lou just dropped some key data points. So you know what? Clip that. Wit, now you are running your entire country on a blockchain, right? I want to know is that when can I use the ID, and start an account on Binance, or use it on an exchange, to go ahead and start my transactions in terms of the KYC. By the way, so that his ID is acceptable in Dubai, because there was that time when we went to five the last time you were here. I didn't carry any of my documents, and you had your passport from Liberland, and he accepted it. Remember that day?
Yeah, and you couldn't get in, right? You had to show them your Emirates on phone, and it was a hassle. Anyway, by the way, like Liberland ID is already accepted by quite a few exchanges. For example, Binance or Biconomy is using it. And what is even like the biggest news actually from this is that the Samsap, one of the biggest, maybe the biggest, identity provider now allows people to accept Liberland. So we made a deal with them that now people can, like the companies can manually select that they want to accept Liberland document, and then it also checks Liberland document. So it was not possible before, but now really like the biggest KYC provider allowed us basically to be integrated into companies selection. But unlike other countries, they actually, well, to be honest with you, like other countries, they can also select and deselect other countries which they accept and which they don't accept, right? But with us, they have to manually add Liberland to that, but it's really just a one simple step, no hassle. So that's, I think, the biggest news when it comes to recognition of documents by companies. Nice background, Lou.
My girlfriend.
Lou's background reminds me of Bali.
I miss Bali.
Yeah. Vit and I, we have never met in Bali, right? No, I don't think so. Vit?
I'm considering going there actually next month, because there is a Bali blockchain week and I got invited as a speaker. So right after or before the Philippines blockchain week. So I might be going there for the first time. I always wanted to go there.
Oh, Bali is amazing. I miss Bali too. See, you got to be on a motorcycle in Bali.
Yes.
You cannot do cabs or cars in Bali. I've been to Bali many times, and usually I try and stay at least a month in about 12 months a year. But now with all the kids and stuff, it's a bit challenging. But I think last year still I was there for about 15-20 days. I think Bali is a fantastic place to go ahead and not just meditate, but also to manifest, because Bali as the island has got the highest number of active volcanoes. So I personally feel that when I go there and I want to manifest, the energies are such that it kind of gets a lot of things happening in play. You know what? Let me ask all the three of you that in terms of crypto energies, which city do you think is really popping? Lou and I, we have also done a panel in Singapore. It was the event of Kumar. No. During that time, but Kumar's at Sentosa.
Oh yeah,
Kumar.
Yep, yeah, I remember that. That was the first time I was ever in Sentosa.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. So where do you think is and plus you're an American, where do you think is the real crypto action happening? Is it Dubai? Is it US, Miami, LA? Where do you think, or New York? Where do you think it's all happening?
Let me do some bragging actually first. Maybe you know that half of the world stablecoin transactions are happening on Tron blockchain, and that Justin Sun, our prime minister, is actually still kind of in charge of that ecosystem. So yes, half of the world's stablecoin and transactions are happening already in Liberland, and the good news is that also Vitalik is more involved. So I mean, we are kind of headquarters already. I think Satoshi also applied a little bit earlier. We just don't have him on the list publicly. But I think we are kind of playing this role, which is great. I'm very honored that these guys realize that physical freedom is a second step to actually financial freedom, right? Like you can be financially free, but you can have all your 12 words. But if you're sitting in jail, or if you have to pay some extortion fee to somebody, you're really not that free. So people realize that sovereignty and physical freedom is the next step where we have to head to as the whole global crypto crowd, and Liberland is trying to really offer that space for that expansion of freedom on this planet.
That's great. As far as kind of other places, yeah, obviously I think Singapore is one of the leading places. Yeah, but what we've seen is, a lot of countries embrace crypto and write some friendlier regulations, and then they write less friendly regulations. So, the UAE has been a great place for crypto for the last few years, but I think things have actually slowed down there. Even prior to from a regulatory standpoint, even before everything that went on, and I'm sure that's going on in that region, and I'm sure that's going to slow it down. The U.S. is certainly better from a regulatory perspective than it was under the Biden administration. But, the Trump administration is not our friend. The Bitcoin Reserve is not buying any Bitcoin. The banks are still a far, 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 far stronger lobbying group than the crypto lobbyists are. And so, the U.S. is not a great market. There's still a lot of, there's still a lack of rules, a lack of clarity. I think France is in one of the better ecosystems in Europe. The best crypto event they just had, Paris Blockchain Week, is a great place in Europe to learn about crypto. But the hope is that we will see other countries. Oh, Switzerland! I think Switzerland is the dominant country in terms that's actually trading on the blockchain, and they have been for years. And that's a great ecosystem.
Well, let me also mention Paraguay. Recently, they asked everybody to report all their crypto transactions, which was seen as a bit of a hostile move towards cryptocurrencies. But at the same time, they only set up a $100 fine if you don't report it. So, interestingly enough, one of those resorts for freedom, which by the way, we really strongly collaborate with everybody that gets Liberland passport, has the right to get residency in Paraguay as well. Because we cannot fight it. Like, you get the residency in one day, you don't have to come back until next 12 months. And then you basically are completely tax-free, and you get driving license for all categories in 1 year without no questions asked. So just that would in Europe cost like 20,000 euro. But yeah, they had this strange move 1 month ago that they now ask everybody to report all the crypto transactions, while they give you a fine if you don't for $100. So they just think about it as like raising a revenue by $100 from every crypto bro that comes down to the country.
Let me just tell you guys that India is actually one of the, or rather the biggest crypto market in the world. We have the highest number of active wallets. When I say we, it's India, though I don't live in India any longer. India is a powerhouse. Unfortunately, our government is absolutely anti-crypto. They somehow claim to be blockchain supportive, but that really hampers the ecosystem in India, because when you have 30% taxes and 1% TDS on every trade that is taken. So I know this live stream is perhaps not going to reach the right authorities. Keep the taxes on. It is all right. A lot of places, a majority of the countries in the
Make
world,
them higher, bring more people to Liberland.
In fact, I've seen Indian content creators actually talk about Liberland. I think I sent you the video too. I was just scrolling one day randomly, and this Indian dude creating content in Hindi is talking about how you can trade in crypto without any hassles by just getting the Liberland passport and the e-residency. And I was like, wait, did I hear it right? Did he actually say Liberland? So yeah, that's the way. Lou, let's talk about the tokens that you are really bullish about. We have a lot of people who are listening to us in Binance. We would like to know, with Bitcoin, of course, what tokens are you bullish about, and what tokens are you, that you think would actually be a part of the next bull run?
So I'm a former equity analyst on Wall Street. So I don't have an opinion unless I do a lot of work on something. So I've done a lot of work on Bitcoin, huge believer in Bitcoin, done a lot of work on Ethereum, huge believer in Ethereum. Outside of that, as I said, I'm going very deep at the intersection of, crypto and AI. The token I'm most excited about there is Venice. It's the leading consumer decentralized AI, and and for me, that's the war that we're in. Is just to have decentralized alternatives for how we want to live our life. Decentralized alternatives for the money we use, and decentralized alternatives for AI. I think are the two most important things that that we can do, that we can have, so that we have freedom.
And in AI, in crypto, which tokens do you think have a lot of potential?
As I'm sorry, is that for me or V?
For you, Lou.
And I'm sorry, I thought I just answered that in terms of, I named 3 tokens: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Venice.
And Venice. Okay, sorry, I didn't get the
Yes.
Venice bit. And Vit, what tokens are you really bullish on? You're on mute.
The founders of Venice actually also applied for citizenship long time ago. I wish we could properly onboard them. I think it's a great initiative. But of course, I'm bullish about Liberland Merit. I think we finally put things together, and the fact that we're launching it on Ethereum, that's a big major improvement when it comes to security and the whole governance, immutability, and also getting rid of bridges for us. It was very important. So for the last 2 years, we've been running our own blockchain. But I was never really big fan of launching Liberland Merit, the main token, basically the share of Liberland on our blockchain. Or it was launched on our blockchain, but not launching it publicly because the concern over the bridges is just too big. And yes, like if Liberland will go and become one big ecosystem at some point, having smaller bridges basically holding a lot of liquidity is very detrimental. So we made this bold step. We decided we'll give up a little bit of sovereignty, not running our own blockchain, but going fully on Ethereum. And I think it was the right move. By the way, it was initialized by our Prime Minister, Justin Sun. So he recommended Ethereum, which I think is quite a good advertisement for Ethereum ecosystem.
In fact, I was just checking the Liberland app because I remember you sending me some merits, though I couldn't find where the merit is, but I found this picture of us, which is my display picture.
Lovely. They should be on the dashboard. Like you should be actually able to see them. I hope you are able to do it. Like our app is also getting lots of improvements, and we are integrating these AI agents into it. So Lou, let's really get on call separately and see if we cannot build it into the mobile app as well directly. If you have some good solution,
that would be awesome. Look forward to following up on that.
Yeah, we're just about to actually.
Sarah, are you there? Because I can't see you.
We're just about to integrate like a proper call center, AI call center into our system as well. So I think it's a great time to discuss these things. And of course, like the first country that will unleash the power of AI full scale for its own citizens will have great advantage. And with Liberland, we really have this opportunity to be that country. So I think it's, again, a great match.
I'm excited.
Sarah, go ahead.
Okay, this question is for everybody. Like, if the nation state is the hardware and the community is the software, which one is currently winning the battle for our loyalty in 2026? Lou, we'll start with you, and then we go to Vic.
For which, you're saying which community is winning?
No. So if the nation state is the hardware and the community is the software, which one do you think is winning the battle for our loyalty in 2026? That's the people's loyalty.
From a community standpoint?
Yes.
For me, community is all about engagement. And so, I always wonder what community is growing engagement today. That's where I pointed out Venice, because it's a community that's going up and to the right in terms of usage of that platform. And we don't see too much going up and to the right in crypto today. Trying to think of what other communities are really scaling today. I got to say, nothing is immediately jumping to mind. I think I'm in the process of writing my 9-year anniversary blog post. Thinking about where we are, and at the moment, and as one of my comments is that I think, in terms of I'm here for the revolution, which I say is having decentralized alternatives. For me, that's the revolution, and unfortunately, the revolution is in a bear market at the moment. RWA is the hottest thing I mentioned in Web3, and RWA, they are not here for the revolution. Which is fine. RWA, they're here to make money, and there's I like money as well. I'm a capitalist, but the revolution is having a difficult moment, and that's part of what Monday. I think in order for community to really be a thing, we need to solve for two things: token economics, which is how we incentivize the community, and governance and consensus, which is how we govern the community, obviously. And in the 9 years I've been 24/7 crypto, we've made very little progress on either one of those. And the hope is Monday, Agent Monday, our community management AI agent, was created in large part to help us dramatically accelerate our ability to learn about those things, and have, efficiently run communities, that benefit us all.
And
Which, what are your views?
Yeah, what are your views? And also, just want to add on to that, in 2026, building communities, I think, is a little more, slightly different, perhaps, building even 2 years ago. So, what do you think we should do? In terms of building effective communities and loyal communities, because you have a very loyal following. Teach all of us how to build great communities in 2026.
So was that for me or Veet?
For Wit, and then I'll come back to you with the same question.
Well, like Liberland has this special challenge, right? Like we are kind of being really asked to level up the community from, let's say, from bunch of hippies, if I may say it, into a nation state. And that comes with actually a lot of discipline and a lot of there must be some national struggle in order to make a country also. It's kind of one of the requirements for creation of a country, right? And it must be kind of serious, because this level of a barrier for entry for new countries, it's quite high. Just consider that Somaliland has, fought for his independence for more than 30 years now, and they still only got recognized by Israel, even though they actually fulfill all the Montevideo criteria, and they don't really have any major enemies. They only have some sort of, I would say, rejection by Somalia, which claims that Somaliland is part of Somalia. So there must be this a substantial struggle by the people, which somehow buys you the entry into the nation state club. And that's where Liberland is getting refined these days. And yes, people are being sorted into people that are unable to basically level up to that expectation, and people that can actually make it. And then I'm talking especially physically about the people, right? We are a very peaceful, loving country, and we have to basically bring people that are able to sustain some level of harassment from our neighbor without fighting back. So it's a very high disciplined exercise for people that are coming to Liberland now to settle or to build, because we're being constantly provoked by our neighbor to do something to them, literally inviting us to fight with them physically, but we must never take on that path. And that really requires a bunch of angels that kind of have military training not to react to anything which would provoke them. So that's really something I think that would differentiate us from network states or other communities, that we are right now literally building this group of people that are able to physically secure Liberland and take on some sort of pushback from Croatia at the same time, and that differs really. I mean, this is one of the elements that I believe, like, Croatia is really our spanning partners. They're teaching us step by step how to become a state through basically giving us some pressure, which I kind of appreciate, even though it can be seen as like quite destructive. Everything that they're doing us, they're kind of teaching us how to be a nation state. So I appreciate it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you also think about like the United Nations, what a joke organization. Personally, yeah, I think that is, Taiwan used to be a member of the United Nations, and the United Nations wanted China to come in, and China said, "Well, you already have Taiwan, and that's China, so we're already there." And they said, "No, we want you." And they said, "Well, if you want us, then you got to get rid of China." So they tossed China. So I'm not sure what exactly. I think every country there is there for a different reason, but I don't think the majority of them are there to make the world a better place.
No, for sure not. And those are mostly like memberships to, herd the cattle and or like cut the sheep, right? So we are not in that business. So we're a little bit strange country. That's why I think there is some level of curiosity from establishment, but also some level of horror, because when things start succeeding in Liberland, it will be like a snowball. And I just believe it will happen sooner or later, because people just realize they don't really have to support oppressive systems, and they can step out of them, and they can build a new form of society according to their liking. So that's what we're expecting in Liberland to happen sooner or later.
And that's amazing.
And that was exactly my question to you, with like the recent international laws regarding the micronations. What is the biggest hurdle Liberland currently faces in gaining formal recognition from established nation states?
Well, first of all, we're actually not micronation, because we are being taken seriously by our neighbors, quite seriously, to the degree that they actually renamed us from micronation into parastate, which gives us already a state status. And micronation is defined as something which is not being taken seriously by any other state actors. And we know very well that we're being taken quite seriously by Croatia and Serbia. And that Serbia already stated they don't mind creation of Liberland because it was not formed on their territory, while Croatia keeps basically saying that Liberland has been formed inside of Serbia. So this is the fun legal situation in which really Liberland has no other country claiming this particular territory, giving us a very good ground, legal ground, to start a new country. So really, I mean, right now, again, I think we just need to suffer a little bit more for the creation of the country, for other countries to take us seriously. But let me knock on the wood here. In 11 years that we're building Liberland, there was no injury in Liberland. So I'm planning to keep it that way, despite thousands of people visiting and working there, and clashing with Croatians, not wanting them to come down to Liberland, etc. But we've been doing things very peacefully and very nicely. So I really plan to keep it that way. And I would like to be known for being able to start a country without single injury.
Well, I wish you all the best for that. It's, on the paper that looks very challenging, but I'm sure you can do that. Lou, are you still around? Because I can't see you. Okay, we have lost Lou. But then, let me also just tell you guys that I'm really pumped. Okay, Lou is back. Okay, great.
I'm here.
So, yeah. So, okay, great. I have a last question for you, but before we close this, for everybody watching us, remember that we do this every day at 8 p.m. Dubai time. We are getting some of the biggest leaders, pioneers, and OGs in this space. We do this every day: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The next session, that's tomorrow, we are going to have the ex-CMO of Babylon Chain and the head of ICP. The next day, we are going to have two gentlemen from Malaysia who have been building the ecosystem over there for over a decade. On Thursday, we are going to have Alex, who is the ex-growth head of Singularity. I am also speaking to Ben, the founder of Singularity. We are also going to have him. And then the hottest topic that we all were talking about, RWA. We are going to have somebody from Stellar and from Bricken. The next week, we are going to have on Monday the founder of Bitcoin.com, Matt, and with him joining us would be Uncle Rockstar. And I think during that week, we would also have two big guys that I'm a big fan of myself, which is Yatsu, the co-founder, sorry, the chairman of Animoca Brands, and with him, we will have Reeves Collin, the co-founder of USDT. We will be talking about the future of stables and how stables from Hong Kong and USDT is USDT already has been powering the world across, but then how the stables of Hong Kong is kind of shaping up, and the entire game of stables that is kind of shaping up the world, because Y Combinator, Facebook are all now adapting to stable coins via USDC. So that is very interesting to see how things are moving ahead. So now coming back to you, Lou, my question is, let us learn from you how to build effective communities in 2026 in the day and age of AI.
So AI will change everything. Yeah, and I think it'll all be AI agents. It's super early days. We're starting. It is day one. But for me, communities have always actually been very simple, to the degree that I believe that you're either growing the engagement of your community or your community is dying. And so to me, it's all about providing utility to your members so your members continue to engage more and more. And I'll leave with, before I hop off, I go around giving a talk called 10 Thoughts on Community, and happy to tell you more of them later, but I start with actually, defining community. What does community even mean? And to me, community is an ecosystem where when it works, everyone gets more out of it than they give. And who doesn't want to be a part of that?
Interesting. Very interesting. With any last thoughts? Sarah, if you have any question, with
David. Well, I think for building a community is very important to have a special mission. And that really brings the main is the mission, right? Of course, the leadership also is important. So I just hope that, you guys, of course, at some point will decide to, instead of going to Bali, for example, for 1 week vacation, you will also be able to visit Liberland and help us a little bit with the country creation. And hopefully beginning this summer, we will be able to host anybody with any kind of passport, because right now we're limited to Schengen citizens. But in July and in August, actually, when we have Liverpool Co, this is the biggest, I would say, libertarian festival, open air festival in Europe, which I would love to see you at.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we should be able to host you in Liberland already, but I cannot promise yet, but I'm hoping for it. So let's hope for the best, and that our neighbors will have a more reasonable policy towards immigration into Liberland very soon.
Yeah, I think Valley's also, and Sarah are also hoping for nicer neighbors.
True, considering the country from where we come and the country that we live in.
Fair point. Okay, this has been awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Valley.
Thank you very
so much, Lou.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you, guys. It was an amazing discussion.
Wait. We have 4 people waiting for your passport. We have Michael Topin, we have Joyce, we have Sarah, we have me, and maybe even Lou. So please send us the passport, so in our next stream we can show it off and talk about it. I was just trying to look for the flag. Sarah, did you find the flag?
No, I not as yet.
Well,
I don't think so. It's in this room.
We'll send you one with the documents, so don't worry.
Yeah. Lovely.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us. Please share it with all your friends. We go live every day. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Stay back. Thank you.